Hi, I'm Sierra, and welcome to Design Yourself Practice. In the next series of videos, I'm going to give you the tools and the education you need so that you feel calm, confident, and capable to do your very own yoga practice anytime, anyplace. So join me here on the mat as we really learn how to use these magical bodies. This course is designed as your own personal handbook. You can refer to it anytime. 10 classes, each under 30 minutes, designed to build one on top of the other so that you feel confident with your breath, with your body, and even in your meditation practice. You won't need a teacher, you won't need a YouTube video, because you'll have all the knowledge you need right here. Welcome to your first class. In this video, we're going to reintroduce ourselves to our bodies. A really great routine that we can do right in the morning, getting out of bed, or right in the evening before we go to sleep. It's designed to help you see where your mobility and range of motion is, as well as your strength. So we're going to start lying down on our backs. And so this is actually a routine that I do pretty much every morning when I wake up. I always take my hands over my head, interlacing my fingers, and starting to connect with my breath. Nice big inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Good. So as we inhale, we want to think about creating space inside the body, allowing it to puff up and get big. And as we exhale, letting go of any tension and just settling into a more rested state. Taking 3 or 5 breaths. Remember, not everything always has to be symmetrical and perfect. So if your hips want to twist to one side, sort of that good morning stretch, just sort of pressing into all the nooks and crannies in your body. Coming into our first stretch, we're going to bring our hands back down towards our sides and doing a sort of cat-cow variation through the spine. So creating a little arch as we inhale to lift the navel up. And as we exhale, we're going to pinch our hips and ribs together, pressing the navel down. Inhaling to arch up. And exhaling to engage. So really soft movement in the spine, using this motion to connect with our breath. And you can keep your hands on the stomach as you move, just to help you remember where the action is taking place. And taking this stretch a little deeper. So we're going to start to lift our feet up, making 90 degrees in the hips and 90 degrees in the knees. If this is too challenging, drop your heels towards your bum. Taking your arms nice and wide, we're going to sway side to side. And as we move, I just want you to add your breath to the motion, whatever feels natural and organic to you. So no emphasis on where the inhale and exhale is taking place, but an emphasis on a really deep breath. And I think you'll start to find that your inhale and exhale are going to naturally sync up to where there's space. So as I inhale, I'm getting bigger, bringing myself to center. And as I exhale, I'm twisting through the core. And that's helping to press the air out of my belly. And as you start to feel more warm and you start to really connect with your core, you can make this a little bit more challenging by lifting your feet up and maybe even straightening the legs all the way out. This is a little more advanced though. I like to keep my knees about 45 degrees. Going through 5 to 10 rounds here, we're going to finish on one side. So before letting your knees drop, plant your feet on the ground, lift your hips up, bringing them over to the right side, and letting your knees fall to the left side. So opposite. We're going to place our hand on top of both your thighs, and then inhale, spiraling the right arm out and looking over the opposite shoulder. As we breathe here, we're still thinking about making space in the body. And as we exhale, reaching through the fingertips to make our twist a little deeper. Close your eyes and watch the breath, taking 3 to 5 rounds. Releasing your hands, we're going to bring both our palms back down to the ground, engaging your core as we bring the knees back up through center, placing the feet back on the mat. Lift your hips, popping them over to the left side, knees fall to the right. Again, we're going to reach up through that opposite arm, spreading your fingers wide, looking towards your palm. And so as we're assessing the body here, I know some of us, our arms might be a little high, hovering above the ground. The more you can relax and just sort of feel the weight of your arm, we're using our body as the tool here. So there's no free weights, there's no sandbags. It's just awareness of the body, of what we have to contract and what we have to relax, so that we can get the proper stretch in the proper muscle. So if you're still tight, you're going to take that micro bend in the arm again and just sort of hover around the shoulder girdle until you feel it resting down on the mat. Close your eyes. Watch your breath. Taking 3 to 5 rounds. Releasing your hands back down to the ground. Take your knees back up through center and plant your feet on the mat, bringing your spine back in a straight line. We're going to curl up into a nice tight little ball, hands on the tops of your knees and bringing your forehead up towards them. As we inhale, we're going to reach out like a star, bringing your hands overhead and your legs down to the ground. Exhaling back into a little ball. Inhaling, reaching out. Exhaling in. Good, just following your breath. Taking your time at the end of your inhale to even pause, pressing the air into the little nooks and crannies in the body. And exhaling fully. Inhaling, getting really big. Exhaling in. We're going to take one more round. This time as we exhale, hold, keeping your eyes closed and fully empty the breath. We're going to bring our hands underneath your knees and find a little rock and roll. So as you rock up and down, we're just massaging the muscles around our vertebrae. Really gently and really slow. And if you're finding that the spine feels a little flat in your lower back, just find a deeper tuck, curling the shoulders in, squeezing our hips and ribs together. As we come up, plant your feet firmly on the ground. Take your hands to your knees. And we're going to find that cat-cow spine again. So as we inhale, lift your chest, press your sit bones down, and try and bring your belly towards your thighs. Lifting up through the jaw and neck. As we exhale, we're going to pull the rib cage back and drop our chin towards our collarbone. Inhaling, lifting up, creating space in the thoracic. Exhale, round. So just follow your breath here. There's no time to follow, but however long it takes to inhale and however long it takes to exhale, and even pausing for a moment at the end of each breath to help press into the body and to make sure you fully empty the lungs. We're going to take one more round here. Exhaling all the way. And even when I feel like my breath is done, I'm going to try and press a little bit more air out, opening my mouth. Finding a neutral spine. We're going to come to seated. So if sitting for you feels a little uncomfortable and your knees are up really high, you can take a pillow, or I have a towel here. I'm just going to fold it and place it under my bum. Because even when you're super flexible, it's good just to feel comfortable so you can focus on the muscles that you're trying to stretch at the time. We're going to start with our head and work our way down the body. Now that we're a little bit more warm and connected with our breath, we can start to move with ease. So as we sit tall, I just want you to rotate your head around in a circle. Again, no particular timing with your inhale and exhale, but just breathing deeply. And one thing to note through all of our stretches is we never want to press down, but we want to think up. So as your head goes around, we're not trying to bring our chin to our collarbone and compress the back of our neck, but instead bring your awareness to the top of your head. And it's like we're drawing a circle, reaching up to the skies, that we're staying long in the vertebrae and creating length in the neck. Good. And as we go around, we're just going to change where our hands are so that we can get a little bit of a different stretch, especially along the front of our collarbone. We're going to start to bring our head side to side, dropping your ear towards your shoulder, and just moving with your breath, whatever feels natural. Good. As we move through this, think of your shoulders being really heavy through the elbows, all the way down to your fingertips. And as we pause to one side, we're going to start to lift our jaw up, making space from the tip of our jawbone all the way down to our shoulder. Inhale, lift, scooping the nose up and looking to the corner of the room. As we come back through center, we're going to do the same thing on the other side, bringing your ear towards the shoulder, then moving your jaw as far away, and then scooping your nose up and looking off into the corner of the room. Now you should feel this more in the front of your neck. If you don't, keep walking your hands farther behind you and lifting up through your jawbone. Inhale and exhale. And we'll do this one more time. Bring your ear to your shoulder. Lengthen your jaw up and away, creating space in the front of your neck. And then think of scooping the nose up a little higher, just to deepen the stretch. Coming back through center and to the other side. So you can do this as many times as you like, hold for as long as you want. Remember, this is your own self-practice, so whatever feels good, enjoy. And whatever feels bad, maybe it's necessary to take a little time there to understand your body. As we come back through center, we're going to drop our chin to our collarbone, bring our hands out in front, and we're going to roll all the way down, walking your fingertips out, finding that maximum arch in the spine, and coiling the body down to the floor. Inhale, we're going to roll up. Exhale, we're going to round down. Inhale, we're going to roll up. Exhale, we're going to roll down. Good. Just following the breath. And as we come up, bring your hands onto the ground, and we're going to flip onto all fours. So a really important part of our body that I find we tend to neglect is our wrists and our ankles. So this is to help build some strength as well as mobility. So taking your hands as wide as you can, we're going to try and ground down through all 5 knuckles, almost like you're trying to pinch your fingertips into some sand, and start to rock forward and back. As you come forward, use your fingertips to take some of the weight off of your wrist. Coming into a stacked position, we're going to start to sway side to side. So bringing your focus to the pinky finger and the thumb. Lastly, we're going to make some big circles, as though your chest is drawing a nice golden circle around both palms, going in both directions. So when our palms are facing down, this is when we're building strength. When our palms are facing up and towards the knee, this is where we're finding a stretch. So again, we're going to try and spread our fingers wide so that all 10 fingernails are on your mat. If they're not fully on the mat, bend your elbows so that you can spread your hand wide, and then work on straightening the arms. Slowly, slowly this will come. Remember, this is your own self-practice. You have your whole life to spread your hands wide. Don't rush, don't push, be patient. Good, and again, we're going to rock forward and back. Really gentle. If it's too much weight on your hands, bring them closer to your knees, so now your legs are bearing your body weight. If it's pretty easy for you, then bring them farther away. Good, and we're going to go side to side. Reconnecting with our breath, and make some big circles in both directions. Good. Before we release this, we're going to start to bend at the knees, dropping our hips lower, letting our wrists come off the ground, bending into the first knuckle, and dropping your elbows down to the ground. We're going to do the same thing with our palms facing down. So if our hands were facing forward on the mat, we're just going to keep walking them out until you find that maximum rotation, fingertips facing towards your knees, and then sitting down to your heels. Try and keep your palms on the mat. If they start to peel off, that's okay. Follow the motion, bending your elbows, trying to bring your elbows down to the ground. This is a really great stretch for the front of your hands. So often we're holding them inward, holding our phones, writing on the laptop. So to counterbalance that, stay as long as you like. Good. To release, interlace your hands together and just wiggle them around one way and the other way. Beautiful. Sitting back in a comfortable position, either cross-legged or on your knees, we're going to take our hands and press them all the way out to the sides. So you want to be straight from wrist to elbow to shoulders, all the way through to the other arm, pressing into the bottom part of your palm, and then trying to pull your fingertips back towards your ears. So this is going to feel really strange. It's going to feel a slight tingling sensation, and this is good. This means you're working and you're stretching. Try and spread your fingers wide. Just to get a better range of motion all around the wrist, we're going to press our thumb away and try and pull our pinky closer towards our ear. And then we're going to bring our thumb closer and press our pinky away. Now it's okay if this doesn't feel completely natural, if you feel like you can't really connect to even make the movement. We're rerouting the map to learn how to use our bodies. This is an assessment. This is to understand. So just try and keep going back and forth between the two. And just notice how your body feels right now. To build a little bit of strength, now we're going to pause. Keep pressing through the palms. Pull your fingers back. We're going to take 5 breaths in and out through the nose. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Resting your arms by your side, close your eyes, watch your breath. Notice how your body feels right now. Beautiful. Let's bring ourselves back onto all fours. Before we move into a bit more dynamic movement, we're going to reconnect, syncing our breath and body up with a little cat-cow stretch. So spreading your fingers wide, planting the tops of your feet firmly down on the mat. Notice where your body is connecting with the ground. Shifting your weight forward and back as we inhale, we're going to arch our spine, dropping your belly down. Squeeze your shoulders down and back and lift the tip of your nose up. As we exhale, start to tuck your tailbone, squeezing the hips and ribs together just like we did at the beginning of the sequence, and drawing your chin towards your collarbone. Inhaling to arch up, exhaling to round. Now, as you round, think about pressing the ground away, not just through your hands, but also through your knees, making lots of space in between the shoulder blades. Now, for this movement, it is important for when we're breathing. So as we inhale, we're making space in the chest and the lungs, arching up, and as we exhale, we're removing that space, condensing the core, and using the movement to help press the air out of the body. Pausing for as long as you want at the end of each movement to move the air inside and to move the air outside. Just noticing the movement and scanning your body head to toe. Good. We're going to take this a little deeper now, shifting into our child's pose. Reach your hands all the way up to the top of your mat. Your bum is dropped towards your heels. Bow your head down and exhale. Inhaling, we're going to start to bring our weight forward, keeping your knees on the ground to what I call a lazy up dog. Drop your hips, roll your shoulders down and back. Inhale, look up. Exhale, back to child's pose. Inhaling to our lazy up dog, keeping your shoulders drawn away from your ears. Exhale. So we're just noticing the movement in our spine here, making it a little bit more intense with a bit of a bigger movement. Good. Before we come into our next pose, we're going to pause here in our lazy up dog. Walk your knees a little closer together. Point your toes, pressing through the tops of your feet so you're squeezing the back body. My glutes engaged, my shoulder blades are down and back. I'm going to press into my hands, not just the palm, but also my fingertips, using the fingertips to help pry me backwards. Notice when I don't, my chest comes forward. When I press the fingertips down, it helps me lift up. Lengthening through the nose, keep your eyes open, and take 3 breaths. Feeling as though your palms are trying to pull yourself back towards your hips, so a sensation like this. Holding 3, 2, and 1. Coming onto all fours, curl your toes under, coming into the peak posture, our downward dog. So in our first downward dog, just let your body sort of explore, walking out your heels, moving them wide on your mat, moving the feet closer together. Maybe you walk them up a little and back down. Notice, though, that the space between your hands and feet should be the same from your plank to your downward dog. So you don't want your stance to be too shallow. And I'm just going to keep walking my heels out here, letting one hip drop, taking some time. Noticing how your body feels in between each pose, as well as in the pose. Good. Inhale, I'm going to use to transition in between the pose from my down dog to my upward dog. Good. Inhaling to transition, lifting the hips. Exhale, downward dog. Notice that my toes are staying curled under because I want to stay grounded between the two movements so I can keep my focus on the spine and my core engagement. Inhaling to transition, finding that pinch where my hips and ribs come together to help me lift. Exhale to settle. Inhaling to flow through my plank. Exhale to settle into upward dog. Inhale to flow through my plank. Exhale to settle, downward dog. Good. I'm going to go through this 3 more times. Letting this pose warm my spine, my shoulders, and my hips and my hamstrings. And the deeper your breath is, the more time it gives you to transition. Good. Final round. Inhaling. Exhale to settle. Inhaling. And exhaling in your downward dog. So in our downward dog, we're going to try and find stillness now. Not moving the body, but using our breath to move from the inside out. So take some time, make sure your fingers are spread wide. Roll your shoulders down and back and give your head a little shake. Making sure we're not holding tension in the neck. Take a little bend in your knees to help lift your sit bones up and then ground your heels. Focusing on your breath as you inhale, let your breath come all the way into the belly. Exhale, draw the navel into the spine. Inhaling all the way into the belly. Let it get big and round. Exhale to draw the navel into the spine. Good. Taking 3 more breaths here. And wherever you're feeling tightness, whether it be in your lower back, your hamstrings, your calves. As you inhale, think about sending the breath to that place in your body, visualizing it making space around the muscle. And as you exhale, let yourself drop deeper into the stretch. One more breath. Beautiful. Bring yourselves back onto all fours and resting in a child's pose. So feel free to stay in your child's pose as long as you like, letting your body melt down into the mat, letting go of any expectations you had of it, and accepting where you are today. When you feel like your practice has come to a complete end, you can bring yourself back up to seated. Finding your pillow, finding a comfortable position. Always taking a moment at the end of your practice to close your eyes, to connect with the breath, and to really notice how you feel at this very moment. Listen to how your body feels. Listen to the sound of your breath. You are the healer and the healed, the lover and the loved, the peacekeeper and the peaceful. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time here on the mat.